So in today's video, I'm going to get really real with you and share a really dark point in my struggle. And I'm also going to share how this dark place really gave me an aha moment that showed me if I just did this one thing, that my entire fight with weight and food would stop. And I'm gonna share what that is now. So along my journey, there was a point in my struggle in my early 20s where nearly all of my focus was around either controlling my food or getting weight off my body. At some point when I was younger, in my early teens, I developed this subconscious belief that everything I wanted in life, from attention from boys to the love of my life to the job to the friends, was linked to somehow the size of my body. And I do not believe that now, but this belief subconsciously ruled my behavior for a really long time. And nearly every day I would wake up feeling disgusted and ashamed with myself from some type of overeating I did the night before, and set out on this plan of attack with the newest workout or the newest thing I could do to get the weight off, or the strict plan or the juice cleanse or whatever that was, only to end up eating God knows what at the end of the night, nearly every night. And there was a time where I would just overeat on the weekends, or a time where I'd overeat once every few weeks, but it got so bad that it was happening every day. And I'd repeat this cycle over and over again. So I remember I was at my cousin's wedding in Minnesota, and I was four-wheeling like a crazy person. Don't drive with me. I'm a little nuts out there. And I was going too fast around a turn. There was a little cliff, and I just flipped the four-wheeler before the cliff. It was either run off the cliff or turn really fast and flip, and I chose the flip. So the four-wheeler rolled over on me, and it actually landed on me, and I broke my ribs. And it was super painful. It doesn't sound not quite as dramatic as it was. It didn't feel that bad at the moment, but I woke up the next day and I could not breathe. And despite the pain and the lack of breath and oxygen and all these things, the most consuming thought I had was not about the pain in my body. It was like, oh my God, I can't work out. I'm gonna get fat. I'm gonna lose control and eat all this food, and I'm gonna look terrible. And I'm not proud that that was my main thought at the time. However, that's what it was. And over the next coming weeks, I could barely walk. I couldn't even really go outside. I couldn't sit up in bed. I couldn't sneeze. I couldn't laugh. And I had to just come to terms really quickly that I was going to be relatively immobile. Fast forward a few weeks later, and I start going on walks and things like this. And within about a 4 to 5 week span, all of these different things started happening. So one, my cravings went down so much. I began to lose all this inflammation. So water weight started shedding. My face looked thinner. And my muscles kind of had this extra layer of swelling or puffiness on my body. It completely went away. I started feeling better, more energized, more confident in myself. My mental clarity started coming back. All of these really positive effects just from going on walks and dropping the fight with my body. Now, before this, I was doing high intensity interval training, boxing, lifting every day, doing plyometrics, really pushing, fighting, because I thought that was the answer to get the weight off. And life put this thing in front of me that showed me something totally different. During that time of healing my ribs, I had the perspective shift of, there's nothing I can do, so I'm just going to take care of myself. And I slowed down, and I rested, and I honored myself, and I listened to my body, and I ate when I was hungry, and I stopped when I was full, which I was not used to. I didn't even have hunger fullness cues back then, but without the intense workouts, my body just started coming back on board and communicating with me. And I realized that all of the fighting I was doing with myself and with my body was actually doing more harm than good. And now that I know what I know with studying this stuff and the stress response in my body, so much of that fighting was causing me to hold on to weight, to have more cravings, to think about food more, to focus on food more. What I was doing to make the struggle disappear was perpetuating the struggle and making things so much harder on myself. So this is just a little story from my life to show you that You don't have to fight and beat yourself up to get the results you desire. In fact, I bet you if you are one of those people who's intensely killing yourself in the gym, going against what your body's saying and just forcing yourself from your head to stick with a diet or an exercise plan or whatever that might be, you're most likely making your struggle with weight and food harder. You're most likely making yourself think about food more, eat food more, gain more weight, all these things that you don't actually want. So I encourage you to take a look at things and see if what you're doing currently is actually creating the results in your life. And disclaimer, I don't mean results today, tomorrow, this week, next month. I mean results that will last for the entire year, for your entire life. Because just because something worked for 2 months last year, right around New Year's time, does not mean that that's the thing to go back to. Because there's a reason it stopped working after 2 months. And that's not because you're broken, and that's not because you have a willpower problem. It is because the entire fitness, nutrition, diet industry literally pits us against our body, puts us against our body, activates stress responses in our body, activates survival mechanisms in our brain that drive us to eat more and think about food more and make the struggle so much harder. So this year, I urge you to do something different. I encourage you to practice connecting with yourself, working with yourself. Still move, still exercise, but check in and move in ways that are fun, move in ways that are enjoyable. And you can still push yourself and hit goals and all these things, but don't reject yourself and your body in the process of doing what these outside plans and what your head is telling you you have to do. Because if you've been returning back to the same behavior with your food, if you've been gaining weight, even after you've lost it, there's something going on beneath the surface that is so much more than just diet and exercise. So this year, it is time to do something different. And if you need support doing something different, I'm here for you. For those of you who don't know, my name's Brittany Brown. I founded this beautiful mission here at Beating Binge Eating. We have helped women with binge eating, emotional eating, and people who don't even struggle with that just kind of heal their relationship with food and live a life in a body they love, in a body they feel confident in, right? And we do this without dieting, without restriction, without killing it in the gym 2 hours a day, endless cardio, and God knows what. We do this through really teaching women how to drop the fight and work with themselves instead of against themselves. So if you need support with that, there is a free training for you to join just below this video. Go to the description now. I know it will set you up for freedom and ease with your body and food. And before you leave, click like, comment, let me know what you think about this video or if you have any questions, and I will see you in next week's video.